go. Come inside. Come on. Here we go. Get me. Come on. Come on. Come on. I see you. Come on. There you go. See ya. That's what I'm talking about. Wait. These splashes. Sorry, I'm not focusing on this. No! I knew it! I knew it! Oh my god. Oh my god. I knew that was gonna happen, guys. It's midnight. That fucking sucks. Wow.
Number 1. It's a bird. It's a plane. It Wibbly Fraggle as the siren.
Oh my god, that voice crack. What? That didn't work.
That voice crack.
I tried, Wembley. I'm sorry. Oh my
Number
god.
2.
Well, that's something
It's a
I'm never
bird.
doing again.
It's a plane.
Small boy, baby, tiny boy, does not know anything, does not even know ABCs, just knows belittle and nap.
I mean, Cade. I'm
You
dead.
got that cake, stinky winky boo boo. Stinky winky boo boo.
Ah, let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Ah!
I'll buy you back. Thanks, Shadow.
Just landed, revived me.
Bro, you just weren't you getting shot at?
No, I just.
Oh, say that. I don't know. How the hell? Oh, Shadow, I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
Nothing in the kill feed that says I got shot by somebody.
I don't know. You think I'm looking? I was just like, yep, rip, you're dead. I'm trying not to die now.
I play this game all the time.
Doesn't matter. Hold on. I love you. You're pretty sure it's actually untouched.
Supply box marked. Secure the package.
Come get that.
Found armor.
There we go. Wow, imagine. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the stream. Starting off awesome. Welcome to our featured podcast, everybody. Today is Wednesday, a little bit earlier, so we can feature our member JM today. I got me. My name is Panic. I am the CDO of SupForce, and next to me over here is one of our moderators, Getting Carried.
Yo, and then better change the camera, ain't it? Hey, how's everyone doing?
Awesome. And next we have our featured creator for the 2 weeks, JM. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. How are we all? How are we all
Welcome,
doing?
welcome.
Thank you very much.
So thank you all for coming out to the podcast. Every 2 weeks we do feature a new member of SupForce for being one of the top supporters on the server. JM's been an awesome to have you for the past 2 weeks. How long you been in SupForce?
Gosh, I've been in SupForce for must be a year and a half now, maybe. I would say a year, yeah, must be about a year now. And yeah, as you can see, Engineered knows me as Maul, which is a previous alias of me. And yeah, so that's the original SupForce name that everyone will have.
yeah, you've been here. Yeah, you've been here for quite some time. You know, the almost 3 years that we've been doing it, just time flies. We've had so many different members join, and you're one of the big stick-out names that's been around for quite some time. And it's awesome to have you finally up here as one of our featured creators. So
it's been good.
Yeah. So what initially brought you over to SupForce?
Originally I'm pretty sure I stumbled across Maddie's first. She was doing a makeup stream, I'm pretty sure, like a year ago, and I stumbled on the stream, and she actually invited me to SupForce and her community as well. And then ever since, I've just started getting to know everyone that was in SupForce, slowly, like, you know, sort of making friends through there. And then I took a bit of a break, probably about halfway through SupForce, and then I came back quite strong as JM, as everyone knows me now, and yeah, it's been good. And then I pretty much joined, and now I've made loads of awesome friends since I've been coming back, so it's been good.
Awesome. That's one of the best things about SupForce is every time we have these our featured creators or just members in general, we have so many connections that get built every single day. The staff team is so family connected, and that's all we try to do is just spread that love out. And it's awesome that you enjoy here at SupForce. So
yeah, it's been really good. Like ever since, like even if I take a break, I come back, everyone still like remembers who I am. And even when I changed my name, it confused a lot of people, but it was still the same faces, and like, you know, everyone's still posting the same content. It's like it's great to see. It's awesome to come back to here and there, and you know, the family's always supporting everyone all the time. It doesn't stop.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like what we see on the back end is just phenomenal. We see constant support, and you know, to make your way up to that top of that chain and being one of the top supported people within a month, like that's a pretty good feat. So congratulations on you, and you know, your support's been awesome as well. So yeah, so if you guys didn't know, oh wow, thanks so much, Wolf, for that sub.
5 months in a row.
And
Wolf's not messing.
Yeah, he's killing it. One of the biggest supporters of the channel, one of the best staff members we got out there, super community active member. Thank you so much, Wolf. Appreciate that.
Let's just shout out, because Wolf never sleeps. He's like always awake. This guy doesn't go to bed. Like, and even if he does, it's for like 10 minutes.
I swear he's got notifications on for Gen Chat.
He does.
Which is insane.
Baby.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, so we'll get into talking a little bit more about JM, but first, just want to let everybody know what's currently going on in SupForce. So we currently have a recruitment challenge going on right now. Recruit all your friends to SupForce and have a chance to win a gift card. Amazon gift card that is straight cash for you to get whatever you want. We have a Rogue Energy from one of our sponsors giveaway package to give away as well. Got some experience to give away. GC repping hard over there. And always go over and check out our merch. We got most recent merch up right now. This one is discontinued, but this is what they can look like, so have a look out there. So we'll pass it over to Rabs coming in with that tier 1 sub. Appreciate you, man. All the support. Don't forget to boot that. Alright, guys, so we'll pass it over to GC. We'll talk about JM, learn a little bit more about his content, what he likes to do. And if you guys do have questions in the chat, remember to tag at SupForce so I don't miss it. I'll try to keep track of your questions, but we will do a chat question segment at the end here. GC's got a few questions, few topics he wants to get in with JM. These guys have been talking since we got into a call together, so I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. And yeah, go ahead, GC.
Yo, everyone. So, yours is weird because this is the first time I've actually presented a feature member podcast. So I thought, let's make a good impression. Let's do the research. And I thought straight away, this is going to be one of them things where, 1 hour will do, 2 hours will do, and I'll just keep switching between. But from this morning till, well, 15 minutes before this podcast, I've done nothing but watch your YouTube channel. And I've been starting off with the Little Nightmares 1 and the Little Nightmares 2 playlists, which, by the way, are far creepier game than I ever expected it to be.
Yeah, 100%. Like the literally the directors and the creators of that game made such an immersive game, but they've correctly done like a horror game but with sound. And the one reason I really enjoy those Little Nightmares series is because of the amount of sound and what they use constantly when they're actually creating this game. But they focus primarily on what you can hear in the background if you're like walking around the door, or you know, if you're walking into a new place, the sound cuts and it's a completely new area segment. So and that's what just makes it so spooky, like all the time.
Sometimes you don't think as when you're watching it as well. You don't think about the audio you get from a headset when you're playing the game, because obviously when you're changing different areas, you can hear those different sounds you don't get on stream.
No.
When you see a streamer jump, and I've seen some of your I've seen some of those.
No.
When you see a streamer jump, and some people think, well, that wasn't that scary. When you've got a headset on, you don't realise all the time. Those sounds can make a big difference. And what I saw in those games were a very artistic sort of thing to it. It wasn't just as simple as gameplay. They put a lot of thought into the backgrounds, into the character movements, into how they walk and how they move around and gestures and things like that. So I like the look of the game, and watching someone play it is hilarious.
Yeah.
But the one thing I noticed and I picked up straight away is you're a very intelligent person.
Intelligent?
No,
I wouldn't say that. No.
These are quite a lot of puzzle-based games, and I've watched you do a lot of these creepy horror puzzle-based games, and I always have to think how intelligent someone is based on how quick would it take me to finish that, and I wouldn't be even here. I'll still be on that level right now, continuing it. Well, you've passed it an hour before me. You've gone straight flying through. I'm like, hang on a minute, how did he figure that out? And that takes a lot of thought, and I think that's a sign of a very, very intelligent person. So credit to you there, where that is.
Puzzles are always, they're difficult. I mean, even when the Superliminal game that you came and watched in the stream that time, some of the ones you were sitting there just like scratching your head for a good 10 minutes, and I'm just sat there like, I don't know what I'm doing. Help!
I've got to admit, when you did the live stream, I forgot what it's called now. That game I mentioned it earlier on in Gen Chat, where
I think it was the Superliminal one.
Superliminal, that one. Yeah, and it was the where you have to go left and then right and then left and then exit, and then the good 30 minutes that filled was worth it. It's great to see stuff like that. But what got you into the? It takes a lot of patience.
Whoa, Wolf just came in strong. Whoa. Round of applause for Wolf there.
All kinds of technical difficulties. I was just saying, guys, that I'm not one for puzzle games. Thank you so much, Wolf. You're awesome, man.
Wow,
Wolf, that's insane. Damn.
Wolf, come on hard.
Shout out to Wolf there.
Yeah.
Wow, love the support. And this is the amazing thing about SupForce. The support is off the charts, and it's where you take it from a community and you make it a family, and that's amazing to see.
Yeah, it is. And even sometimes when you do content, regardless of like the platform that you're on, there will always be like someone that you've seen before or someone you haven't seen before, and when they come in, they say, oh, we're from SupForce, like, pushing it. It's so good that every time you do a video or a stream, that there's always someone that comes and checks you out, and it's always everyone's trying to help each other out, like 24/7. It's great.
Because it's that vast of a community, you get so many different people, and you're going to bump into people that are going to have similar interests.
Yeah.
So it works out like that. But how did you get down the horror route with your content? What made you get into that world?
So horror for me, like, I mean, this has been a big part of my life since I was like young. I say young, I'm still young, but like probably from when I was like 12, I want to say. I was playing like Resident Evils from then, and I was playing them when I was younger, but really getting into them when I was like had an Xbox for the first time, for example. But then ever since I was like, you know what, I really love horrors, I love horror films. I'm always trying to like figure out if the horror film is going to go down the horror game route and create something like a spin-off, like, or unfortunately you get the Resident Evil games and then they create a film which is a bit subpar. Not you know, no shade, but it was a bit subpar. But no, but like horror has always been like big for me. I remember when Slender Man, if you guys remember, when that became the first viral like character, should I say?
Yeah.
And then that
reminded me of Salad Fingers. Slender Man.
That was back to my like college days, you know, watching like there'd be Salad Fingers on and someone would be watching it in the corner or something because they'd find it fun, and you're just like, and then Slenderman came out, who was the first kind of like character, and then they brought out, you know, like Siren Head, and you got all these different characters that are hunt based horrors that have come out, and I love it. I mean, I as you see in clips, I mean, I think if you go to every single horror that JMJC have done on YouTube, there's always at least one clip of me throwing my headset or jumping out my seat. And I mean, the game,
zoom in the camera.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's always a horror on our page that has a clip of this happening, and I still turn around and go, I absolutely love horrors. Horrors are great.
I completely get it. I think everyone is, you know, scared to begin with, but when they get that little bit, it's addictive. It's like roller coaster. Everyone's scared. They get excited and they get scared when they're going up the hill and they're like, "Oh my god, I've made a wrong decision here." But then, when they get through it at the end, they get through it. They think, "Wow, I overcame that." And it's that's kind of the fun out of it, really.
It's such a like weird addiction, like very weird addiction. I mean, I played the Outlast series like 4 or 5 times now, and because I just keep going back, like to Outlast 2 for example, and Outlast 1, and I just keep going back, playing them through. Resident Evil 7, because that became spooky again after the Resident Evil 1 and 2. You have to play it before 8 comes out.
Yeah. You gotta get on it.
You need to get the first person experience before 8.
I definitely like it. Resident Evil, I'm a big fan of. I loved it. I remember the first game I ever watched my dad playing was Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And so, and I was 6 then, and I remember the conversation we had not long ago where you
we did.
We thought we were the same age, and that's a compliment to me, but it is to you. I was like covered quite well with those games until about 6 or 7 when I started watching them. They are fantastic games.
Yeah.
Which was your favorite Resident Evil?
So for me personally, it's always been, it's a very hit and miss topic, but I personally like 5. Not for horror, not for, you know, the core Resident Evil feel, shall I say, but mostly because 5 had so much you could do. Like, it wasn't something that you could just play through. For example, 7. Like, 7's very much, you play through the first time, you sort of understand what's happening, and then you play as the second time to get the second ending. Whereas, like, 5 you have to, like, go through, and if you want to get, like, unlimited ammo, for example, you would go back through and have to complete so much to get unlimited ammo for the pistol, and then it would be like, I'm quite a completionist, so I'll always want to try and 100% it. So it's like 5 had so much to do that I was so hooked all the time on doing that, and that's why 5's always been my favorite. And then 7 straight after, because I quite liked the immersive first person that they brought in for the first time, which was quite cool. So,
what would be the scariest game you've ever played?
Oh gosh, scariest game depends what we're going off. If we're going off jump scares or we're going off pure horror, like atmospheric.
Which
games.
which ones could give you nightmares? Which one could make you like really
Okay.
struggle to get through it?
Or not want to play it tomorrow.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
suppose being a completionist, that's really difficult.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, right now, the game I'm playing that came out in 2012, which is Cry of Fear, that one is constant scares at the moment. I don't know what it is about the game, but every time I'm recording it and I'm playing it, I come out of it and I'm like sweating through, and it's like. But for some reason, like, I mean, the game came out 2012, 2013, and it was originally a Half-Life 2 mod that was in the game, and they made it a separate standalone. But I went back to it because I was struggling to find a good horror that was recent, because at the moment games are so dry at the moment that we're struggling to push like any good horrors at the moment, apart from like Resident Evil, which I'm having to wait till May. But definitely.
I get what you mean there, because I think the horror game scene is, especially for console, it's very limited. There used to be things like even Dino Crisis and Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And you had the Resident Evil series, but yeah, Alien and Predator and things like that. You had the kind of a lot more thought put into those games, and now it's like you have little miniature things like The Walking Dead and so much like that.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's all been done before. There's nothing that's really creepy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I still remember old Silent Hill. Old Silent Hill was
You know,
incredible.
I'm still hoping on the day that they bring out a remake of Silent Hill game and they just make it as like the Resident Evils are doing, because that would be probably one of the top like selling horrors of the year, for example.
Definitely.
Like I remember when the first time when they did the PT on PS4, I mean that was just phenomenal. Like, even though it was the demo and, you know, they were trying to tease it for the Silent Hill, which never got created, but PT was, I mean, it's something that I've got lined up for stream on PC, and I'm already pushing it back.
It's a very scary choice. And that's actually they did a pretty good job of the film after that.
Did. Yeah.
I think they did a better job than maybe Resident Evil did with theirs. And
maybe. Wait, what did Engineer say? We're gonna play Resident Evil Outbreak. Yes. I want to play the one they're bringing out with 8. Is it the Reverse? Like the multiplayer in the police station they're doing like a sort of like a 4v4 Resident Evil team deathmatch kind of style game, I think.
Oh wow!
It's called. I think it's Resident Evil Reverse. Like but it's coming out with 8.
I suppose it makes
That'd be
sense if
dope.
Resident Evil did like a zombies sort of style map thing like Call of Duty did.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they could make it more creepier.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you like if what would be like ideal if I could just say like if I was in charge of Resident Evil games and I was like, right, I want to get a multiplayer like Resident Evil game, I would be like, right, we want to go Resident Evil 7 and 8 style, shall I say now, because it's all first person, but immersive. But I wish they brought the co-op aspect back in. I love the single player, but for me personally, having someone next to you, for example, in 5, it's so much, I don't know, you can get more immersive like into the game, and it's always so fun to back and forth like sort of talk. And if someone like 7 where you're like walking around the house, it wouldn't really work too well, but there could be a way of making the map bigger and having the co-op aspect in the game. And yeah, I just think that would be amazing, because they've lost out after like 6, no, Revelations, shall I say. That was kind of just didn't go anywhere, and I just wish they now they've got this clear first person immersion, shall I say, then bringing co-op back in could be really cool, I think.
Yeah, I get that. One of my fondest memories is playing a video game with my best friend during the summer holidays, and it was Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Code X, and having that person with you, kind of getting you through that. I kind of makes sense. And actually, this is onto this question, because I remember earlier on where I said I had a question for you that I kind of have an idea of the question. But I want to hear what your thoughts on it is. Who would you say out of you and so out of JM and JC, which one of you do you think is the who gets someone scared, who gets jumped very, very easy? Which one of you? I'm not going to say the word wimp because definitely not wimp. Which one gets scared easier?
I would definitely say solo horror is JC.
Okay, yeah.
But in joint horror, it's me all the time. It's me all the way through.
It's like he hypes you up on it or something.
So like JC is like, he's been my best friend for like many years now. It's why we ended up deciding after I decided to stop doing the mall like side of things on my YouTube. I decided to shut that down and then start with him a joint page, because we just found like, you know, we both do different content, we both like the same content, and we wanted to build something around that.
Yeah.
So I was like, so when he plays horrors himself, he loves them, but we've started building him into horrors because he does love them, but it's now getting him into playing them. But then when we do play games together, like for example, yesterday when we played the dinner, like the lunch lady game, as soon as anything's chasing me, I'm done. Like I'm done for, and it will never happen again. And it's been proven when we played Devour. I don't know if you guys have heard that one as well.
Yeah.
I heard that one now.
So Devour's basically the first map. You're in a house and you're sort of trying to like capture things to perform a ritual, into like sort of exorcising the demon out of the house. But she will chase you around the house, like the more you do, and the jump scares off that, and just it's all proximity chat as well. And yeah, for me that's just I'm off. Like there's a clip in that video where I genuinely threw my headset and left, and I was like, I'm done. I'm leaving.
I saw a moment on when you were playing Little Nightmares and you died, and it took you back to such a far part in the back.
I think I walked out, didn't I?
You walked out. Never went, oh god.
I'm out.
I was at the top and I jumped down the middle of the hole and I just flew all the way down, and then I was done because I was so confused with what I was doing that I hit the ground and I just left.
Yeah, I couldn't play Little Nightmares. Couldn't play that game. I watched Dan Lucifer Knights play through Little Nightmares 2, I believe it was, and only caught him on my lunch break, but I was just like, no, I could not deal with the chasing for me too. I'm like, it freaks me out. I panic. It's my name. So I can't deal with that kind of stuff. Like, you know, like when it's like horror, it's like, all right, whatever, you know, like that stuff doesn't really bug me because I've seen worse. But you start chasing me or putting me in like high pressure situations, I panic. I'm out. Can't do it.
No.
It's like Crash Bandicoot. It's a great game to play, but when that boulder comes chasing you and you've got that little bit of pressure, that's it. It's nope, that's it, done. I want to go at my own pace. I don't want to be pushed.
And that was one of the issues that we found in Lunch Lady as well. From yesterday's video, is the more pages you collected, so it was technically like Slender Man, the more you collected, the harder it got and the faster the character got. And it got to a point where I just remember this one clip, but this one's coming out, there's a video coming out Friday of us actually completing it. And
oh wow,
and on Friday this video comes out, and there's this one scene which I think is actually in the SupForce clips now, that I run down the stairs and I'm like, there's no chance she's behind me, and then it's just slap jump scare in my face, and I was like, I was done.
When I was watching it, I'm like, wow, that dinner lady is fast, and he seems to be in every room.
She's everywhere.
I mean, there was only one of them, right?
And
that was a big place, and it was like, there was lots, and yet he was everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it didn't make sense. I'd be calling it a hacker. I wouldn't be liking it.
No clipping to the walls.
I'd throw that game down. I'd raid, and I'd just give up on that. Yeah. So credit for completing it. Definitely credit for completing it. So we've talked about horror games. I'm assuming then that means you might like horror films.
Yes.
What sort of horror films? Are we like a slasher fan, like with, Halloween, Jason, Friday 13th? I think, or are we a zombie fan, or are we a ghost, like Paranormal Activity fan? What sort of horror is it that you did? What is your go-to horror for a film?
Yeah. Me personally, I'm more possession, like over like slashers. So we're talking more like The Exorcist. And Insidious, and we like anything that's got like possession in the name is normally my cup of tea. I love the slasher films. I mean, it was only last week that we me and my missus ended up rewatching all of like the original slashers. So we watched Freddy vs. Jason, Freddy Crew, like the actual Nightmare on Elm Street.
Freddy vs. Jason is definitely not the original. If you go back further than that, trust me on that one.
So we watched those sort of like the stereotype slashers, all the way through to Scream, but then like for me personally, sort of like Insidious and The Exorcist, more if an entity takes over a body, and that for me is like the best, because carry on, sorry.
Yeah, I completely get that, because when you have when you watch these sort of like ghost stories and they say based on a true story. Now it can be based on a true story by literally having a name of a real person in it that lived on that street, and then the rest of it can be not really but they draw you in by saying based on a true story, and it could be right that Norris did go to the shops on that Tuesday. That could be the one thing that was right, and then the rest of it is just all to the story.
The one thing that I really enjoyed was I think it was Conjuring 2, where they based it on the English house where they had genuine Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were actual people back, in the time where it was set, and there was genuinely a house with that. So for me, like, I know they've spun it off because it's a film, and like that's fine. And it's one reason why, for example, I love Phasmophobia, because I go ghost hunting. It's great. But those types of films for me sometimes get me on edge with that sort of thing. I mean, there's the one film that very little people would have heard of, is qeeWKY. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it. It's wait, let me put it in SupForce chat, but like in the stream, and it's PYE and then whack it. And that film forever put me off like anything, like those types of films. And like there's this one scene I just remember was, so this bit, like the genuine story is this daughter, has a temper tantrum at the mum, goes out into the forest and performs this like ritual which is supposed to like possess the mum, for example, or bring a demon to like scare the mum to stop, like just because the child's having a temper tantrum. And what I love about films is
sorry, carry on. I say note to mums: if your child can perform magic, be extra nice. Give them a cookie. We don't expect the children to bring it, it can happen.
No, and then like what I love about like horror films is when they do it well, is it could be the cheesiest horror, but if they've got good things, like for me, the only thing that really messes me up in horrors is crab walking of like possessed people.
Oh yeah,
I hate it with a passion, shivers all the time. But there was this one scene that there was a camera like sort of here, and behind it you had the whole background. So you had the house, the garage, the sheds, everything, the trees, and the camera was quite close up to the front. And you could see the background in sort of action, and then you see the sort of the possessed like demon jump out the window, but crab walking in the background, and you knew what it was doing was getting closer to this person who it was trying to go to. And for me, that was it. I just turned it off and I walked out. I was like, nope, I'm done. No, I'm done. I was like, I can't deal with it. And there was also Hereditary on Netflix. They did really good background horror, which was you had to be vigilant on what was going on in the background because that was where the scare was. So, for example, like you had like the daughter in Hereditary, or the son who would like they would walk around, and then up in the top corner of the roof, the mum would be there just pinned to the wall, like just waiting to jump down. And like a lot of people don't notice it because they don't look around the room to see what's going on. But for me personally, a horror film that does that is like 10 out of 10 straight away. It's like they thought about what goes around.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Marina are very avid movie watchers, and like we absorb a lot of content, like down to the point of I ruin movies for Marina 5 minutes in because I'll call the whole thing. But when you get a solid horror movie that they take into consideration people like us that look outside of the like action. And if you're taking into account that and you're really creeping me out, like, you nailed it. Good movie.
It's always difficult.
It's weird with horrors because everyone likes to call it from the start because they're that scared of it. They like to. It's like Scary Movie literally explains the rule of horrors.
Yeah.
And so you literally, they're so predictable. And a lot of people do call horror straight from the start, like who's the murderer or who's going to die and who's going to survive. So any horror film that can make it go start to finish and you don't predict the ending and it's completely different or something you just didn't know, that's why I think they're good.
Yeah,
I think it can make you second guess it.
I think one of the biggest upcoming guys because horror has got very samey for like the last few years now, but one director called Jordan Peele, he's recently come into the market. He's done Get Out and Us as horror films. And he's come into like the horror market and he's like spun horror on its head and gone, this is how I want to do it. And so far both films have been like really good films, both been really good hits, and like he's been exciting for horror. And I've been following now his work now for the last few years because I genuinely think he's gonna go somewhere with horror that not on the same level as what they're trying to do now, which is too much CGI jump scares in cinema atmosphere. They're not actually worried about what the horror is. They're just like, if we chuck you a jump scare, you're gonna jump, so you will say you enjoyed it. Whereas like Jordan Peele's actually going down the route of, we want to keep the film genuinely progressively getting scarier and scarier, and you're never sure if that was the right thing you thought of in the first place or if it was the wrong thing. And his films have always been great, and he's doing a Candyman remake very soon, which I think is going to be insane. It's going to be great.
This is an on-topic question I'll throw out there. So it's from Marina. Do you have any horror-based tattoos?
I do. On the back of my calf, I have one like possessed lady with pentagram engraved like scarification in her forehead.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, and then underneath has got like one of my worst fears with like the bone cracking possessed like woman walking through a forest, and that's in like a shadow below. I'll send a photo into the SupForce chat later on of it. It would be quite difficult to stand up on my chair and turn around and give you guys a calf look.
So then do you have a lot of tattoos then?
So
because you got this and then your calf.
So I've got this. I've got like this one goes all the way up. I've got like a horror piece on here, which is just like a witch, like evil sort of like goth lady on here. But my left leg, which is yet to be done, which is my horror / gamer themed, all inspired leg, which I haven't started yet. But I've got my chest completely done, both my ribs, my lower stomach, and
I heard ribs are painful.
And my right leg is about 3/4 done, and my left leg's untouched.
Dang.
So
I'm about
halfway.
You're like much further down the road of covering yourself than I am. That's awesome, man. I need more tattoos.
Yeah,
I'm about 60% the way through.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, GC, you don't have any, right?
You have two. Mine are Yeah, mine are just a minion and a Crash Bandicoot, and we'll I will be adding to it. It won't just be completely random. It will make sense in the end. But wow, I heard
It's a start.
Yeah, ribs are very painful. I've heard. So
it really comes down to the individual. Like you have your common spots that are really painful, but like I thought my chest would be like a cakewalk, but no, this hurt more than my back. Like I have my back 3/4 of the way covered, and I slept through that. I slept through most of it, and then this one, I was like, "Oh my god, this hurts so bad." So realistically, I think it comes down to the person, but ribs always get people.
Was it sleeping or was it fainting?
No, I slept.
It was slept.
So it was actually very calming. There was a few spots on my back, like right on your shoulder blades, or like the top along like my back strap that did hurt. Like it was stinging pain, but the rest of it, I was just kind of like relaxed. I was chill. I was listening to music, and I fell asleep. And then he like woke me up. He's like, "Can I go for a smoke break?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it."
I'll just go back to sleep. It's fine. No, for me personally, my hip bones were the worst, like pain sort of side, and the lowest, like very low stomach. That was very painful, and just the top of the Adam's apple was like, that was my pain.
Oof. Yeah,
but
I would think that would hurt right there.
Yeah, so like it was like everything else around the neck was fine, but it was just the center of the Adam's apple which was like the most agonizing pain. But it was the hip bones and the lower stomach for me that like made me feel kind of sick, because it was just the problem with the lower stomach is there's nothing to really support the tattoo. It's that the tattoo artist is genuinely having to like, you know, dig into you because they're having to push into your stomach.
Yeah.
So after you feel the vibrations of that, and it's all around the lower stomach, it's like, please hurry up.
I can imagine. I've only got 2, so I'm kind of a baby with it right now. But
so we've talked a little bit. Me? So I've started my gamer theme arm over here.
Nice.
I do want to continue that up this side. This one you can't see. I got too many shirts on right now, but I'm doing a nature theme side. Currently like a scene with a wolf chasing a deer. My back is by an artist called Mr. Cartoon. He was a very popular tattoo artist back around 95, 2000 time. He still does amazing work, but not a lot of people know too much about him. But my whole back piece is one of his original. It's a big angel with a city and stuff underneath that. It's about 3/4 of my back.
Wow.
Got like a few little ones here or there, kind of kicking around, but haven't gone back to get everything fully finished. There's ideas, but no funding to pay for it at this point. So we'll be getting there near the end of this year, since you know the job's starting to pan out now. But
nice.
I got plans, just not there yet. So
just not the dollar yet.
Yeah. And now with Marina learning to tattoo, she'll be doing a few things probably on me. I told her she's got to do one on her first.
Yeah.
and then I can.
I think it's comfortable to do it on them.
Okay. She might talk me into it, but.
Brave. It's not like it's forever or anything, is it? So it's perfectly fine.
Well, the funny thing is I told Marina that's the same spot. I'm like, yeah, you got my leg. I don't have plans for my legs because you know I'm a pretty hairy guy, so my legs are just covered in hair. So I'm like, tattoos not really gonna look good down there. I'm like, you can practice down there. Go for it.
Completely makes sense until you then realize when you're older, and then you think, wait, someone's gonna have to see that eventually, and how I'm gonna explain that when I've hid it all these years.
I mean it can't be this bad. I remember, so I got offered like a free tattoo from my tattoo artist because I'd paid like, you know, so much to get like little bits done, and he was like, you know, we'll just chuck something else in. So right on the center like of my foot, I have an alien face. Just right on the center of my foot. So every time I go swimming, everyone's like, Huh?
Why?
Why? Why?
Oh, that's hilarious. So we've heard quite a little bit of talk about JC, but why don't you tell us more about the whole JMJC thing?
Yeah. So what was it? Probably last summer we were both doing separate content. He was doing his own YouTube and Twitch, mostly Twitch, and I was doing YouTube off of Maul and pushing that side, and we were both very separate. And I remember like a year ago we were talking, we were like, you know what, like why don't we like start our own page one day? Would be cool. We both like the same stuff. We both love doing co-op games, and if there's ever a video like when I used to do a lot of COD montages and creating that sort of side, he was always there, or in the game at least, or in the feed. And I was like, why don't we just start? We've been friends. We want to do content. We want to do YouTube. We like making friends with people here and like everywhere. So I was like, why don't we just start it? And then it sort of went quiet, and we were like, we'll stay away from it for a bit. And then October last year, we decided, we were like, you know what, like let's go for it. Like let's just, like, you know, why not try it out? This point, me and JC were very highly into zombies at the time, like COD zombies, and we were both really enjoying playing it, plus also recording. We weren't publishing like the videos, but we were like enjoying doing it. So then we created JMJC. And the first sort of stuff we did was all Cold War, COD related. Yeah. And we posted the campaign, we posted the zombies map, and we posted multiplayer. And like straight away off the bat, we had we did all the Easter eggs for the first map that came out, and our videos just like blew up like crazy. It sort of like didn't stop for a while. I mean, I'll just quickly go and check the oldest. I mean, one of our Easter egg videos is currently on 91,000 views on YouTube.
Damn.
Wow. And it's like, so we're like slowly pushing nearly 100,000 views on our like one of our first Easter egg videos views, and it's just ever since that we were like, we love it. Like this is great. Like we're having so much fun doing it. We weren't ever like expecting that much, like at all. Like I remember me and JC saying, like, if we could get anything but like 10 plus views in the first like few months, because we're new, we're pushing. If we can try and push for 10 plus views every video, like we'll be on a good track for like a year's record once we once we're active for a year, and our page has its year anniversary. And then it just all changed. Like every video we were doing, we were publishing, and it was like 40, 50 views, and then like the Easter egg stuff we were getting over 100 to 1,000 to like, you know, tens of thousands in every different video that was Easter egg related. And we were just like really having fun with it. We got like people that we met through like the Easter egg videos that we'd play zombies with, and then we'd help other people do the Easter egg that hadn't done it yet and who still wanted to.
I haven't done it yet. I've done part of it. I've got the dime machine, but that's about it.
He's like, help me, I want to go.
Yeah, that's it.
I know someone who might want it a little bit.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Oh, we'll add it in there. But yeah, so then we were like, you know what, we want to do zombies. So we ended up doing like zombies all the way through for like a good long time. And then we decided to like bulk down on our like scheduling. So we were like messing around with schedules. JC wanted to do, because this was the PS5 launch over here in the UK, he was like, oh, you know, like I want to try and do my own thing on like the channel, which would do his own, you know, like his own sort of content. So he started off with Demon Souls, and I was like, yeah, that's really good fun. Like, you know, that would bring in like the Demon Souls people, like they would come have support, you guys could all make friends. And I was like, I want to go down like the horror route and try and push the horror through, because it's my passion and what I always love doing. And then in between we were like, oh, we've got the week and we both want to do co-op, and the whole purpose of our channel, like our values of our channel, was to build it more cooperative. So anyone who came could play games with us if they wanted to. If anyone decided to like support, we would be like, you know, like come and join us. Like if you want to come play games with us, we're always open. And we built our page mostly around being cooperative and just being co-op based gamers, streamers, you know,
Definitely
content
got the
creators.
balance.
Yeah.
And
It's awesome.
and that's the nice thing, because it's like JC has his own passions with his side, I have my passions with my side, and then there's always our balance in between, which is our zombies, our random horror games that we play like here and there, like Lunch Lady and Devour. And anytime there's a co-op game, we base our middle weeks and the weekends based on just co-op. And then in the week, we, you know, Mondays and Thursdays, JC does his Let's Plays, and I do mine on Tuesdays and Fridays. So then we have Wednesdays and our weekends just based on co-op. And that's been great, because there's always been people who we've met now who play Phas, for example, and now we play Phasmophobia with loads of people that, like, every time we jump on, there's always someone that's like, oh, let's jump on, like, if you want to come play, we'll play. And it's great, because we've actually met so many people through doing it co-op. Whereas what I find a lot with YouTube is, because we stream now on YouTube and we've always been solely 100% into YouTube, it's been great. It's been great now to show people that are looking for YouTube to, like, as like a source of like video uploading, that they can actually stream, they can actually push content, and they can actually meet like lots of people through it. And it's great, because I think what we find and what other people found is we weren't really scared to push the YouTube boundary if we could. We were like, you know, everyone found it hard because it's quite saturated now, where so many people are on YouTube. But what I'm finding is the streaming side of things is still quite niche. There's not as many people who do it yet, and the time zones are all different. And it's like, we've met so many people now streaming on YouTube that actually are friends with us in our, like, in servers, in, you know, just in general day-to-day life that we chat to. And that was all through YouTube streaming. And so it's quite nice, because that's where we've all come from.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you guys are doing some pretty unique and crazy things over there. And like, I've seen many of your videos so far, especially since you've been featured member, and they keep popping up when you post them. And like, you and JC just get together like so well. Like, you know, it's almost hard to distinguish, you know, whether you guys are like friends or brothers, or like, you know, what's going on there. But then also, like, your separate content, almost, it like reflects one another as well, right? So it's like, if I find your channel watching, you know, your horror stuff, and I come across, you know, JC's style of gameplay and it's his video, it's like you guys still click together. It's almost like I'm watching the same flow, which makes it really good. So
I always find it's great, because like, the good thing with me and JC is, because we bounce very well together, it's like, you can do our separate stuff, and we'll always say, oh, you know, like, JC would do this, or like JM would do that. And then as soon as you get us into like a Phasmo game, it just doesn't stop. Like, the comedy just never ends, and like the amount of rinsing, or like the way we just sort of bounce off each other's comedy or humor, or just being scared in general, it's just hilarious. Like, we'll play Devour and Lunch Lady, and like, you'd see that JC would be like coward because he's like, you know, he's scared out, and then you'd see me and he would just be looking at the camera directly at Discord, laughing at me because I'm just sat there like, please don't ever do it again. Yeah, we work really well, and it's like, it's so good that we're such like close friends. And like, the thing is that I find is, creating a YouTube which is solely around two people or a group is, it can, like, you know, sometimes you might get one might slip, one might fall, and, you know, some people might have hard days, and, you know, if someone has like an off week, like, we've already done so well to be like, if I took a week away, JC would fill like anything that I needed. And if I had to take time off personally, or JC had to take time off personally, we would always fill each other's content, and there would always be like a consistency of flow with content coming out for everyone to see, just so like no one feels like the power is like, it's always 50-50 regardless of if we're in the content, if we're not in the content. There's not like a, you know, a hierarchy of one does more than the other. It's like, you could do as much as you wanted, and the other person would still support fully 100%. So it's
Oh,
nice.
Definitely sounds like a very, very good bond. I'm just worried about the time. But we always ask one question. I've noticed every single feature podcast. Marvel or DC?
Ooh. Okay. I am more Marvel than
Got a
DC.
Marvel fan.
Yeah.
So Yoshi isn't in chat yet, so we can't. But yeah, definitely Marvel. I'm with you on that.
I'm more Marvel, but there has been some decent DC films. But the problem with DC is it's not a shade, it's not like anything that I hate, because Marvel do the same. But what I find about DC is you can always spot the references from the Marvel films. And you can always tend to find out whose character resembles what. And for example, when Infinity War and Endgame came out, and then Justice League, you always spotted the resemblance of what happened in Infinity War or Endgame, and then you would see that clip inputted into Justice League. And what I disliked the most is DC had the time to create something that was, potentially rivals the Endgame scene, but they tried to, but just went, we don't want to.
Have you seen the new remake of the Justice League?
I have, but
I did like.
I did. I thought it was good. I definitely thought it was an improvement, but it could have dealt with being shorter than 4 hours.
I mean, it was rather on the long side. That was definitely a director saying no. We'll keep it at 4 hours.
But like, they're both really good. They both do different things, is what I like about it the most. But the problem is, I think they're quite undecided on who does what does what, and I think they've got themselves in a bit of a lost scenario at the moment. With the superheroes, they keep soft rebooting Batman all the time and soft rebooting constantly, and people, the thing that I think that Marvel are struggling with now, I don't know if you've seen the TV series of Falcon and WandaVision, is they've actually started slipping their content personally, because it's not as Marvel standard. It's sort of, we'll chuck stuff at you. And the thing is with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is what I've been watching, is it's quite very Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. It's Part 1 was just, here's a bunch of stuff, and Part 2 was this is the bit you're waiting for. And that's what I'm finding with the TV shows so far, is here's
all
the filler.
The last episode is
but they overall, both of them do really good stuff. It's just this one that sways me the most is always Marvel. So yeah. Well,
that was that question always gets asked, and I feel that it wouldn't be right to get through it without even asking it.
No, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I thought you were actually going to ask the other question that always gets asked to new staff members, to feature creators, to everybody. Yeah. If you could be one animal, what would you be and why?
Ooh, I mean, personally for me, I'd be an owl personally, because it's always been close to me. I've got it printed on my chest, and that was a painting that a family member did, and I put that onto my chest. I think they're awesome animals. They literally are so cool. They're a night owl, and I'm not much of a night owl anymore, but ever since I was for the last few years before I switched jobs, I was a continuous night owl all the time. So I just felt like it resembled me the most, and they're very predatory sort of animals. And for me, I could just sit there and watch owls all day. It sounds really weird, but I could genuinely just sit there and watch them do everything at night. I could have a live cam up on YouTube, and I would happily just sit there and just watch it.
I completely get it. The way they hunt, the way they fly, and
it's just everything about them is so cool.
The bigger than you expect, a little bird, and then some of these can be rather big and have big wingspans, and
that's it. Or it's basically because they can do the whole the 360 thing where they look possessed. So maybe it was because they look possessed. That's the
And,
reason
yeah.
I like them.
Anything that can twist its neck round further than my mum can, yeah, it's definitely wrong.
I was like, I've watched too many horror films, so maybe anything that can move its neck more than 90 for me is.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely 360-degree vision. Yeah, definitely, Mark, 100%. Well, we are running low on time, so I'm going to give chat one last chance to fire off any questions here. Remember, at SupForce with your questions, so we can get on to those, and while we give them a few minutes to throw those out. One thing, I guess if you had control of SupForce for a day, what is one thing you would change or add or remove?
Ooh. For me, change. Ooh, gosh, that's a big one. Change, I'm not really too sure. Change, I wouldn't really change much at all. Add, I would love to add a area where not just say like the tournaments and the events, but where we have sort of like a, I don't know how to really do it, like the gamers corner, but for more into like niched sort of areas. So like if we wanted to do like a big, if I wanted to host like a YouTube event that was more in that area of SupForce, like a SupForce is like smaller creators events. Like whereas like sometimes we speak in like the YouTube chat and we would want to get some of the YouTubers together.
Like a private channel to organise your own stuff.
So it's like sometimes we'll talk in the YouTube chat and be like, oh, how cool would it be to get to like all the YouTubers together, but we can't really create an event without sort of like the SupForce. You got the SupForce events in the announcements, but we haven't got like an area where I would say like, oh, I'm doing this today for SupForce, like who wants to come join, like that sort of thing, without it being like overshadowed by like other chats. I don't know, that's for me. That's what
it's an interesting idea. Definitely an
and
interesting
then
idea.
Remove, I mean, nothing. Nothing. There's nothing that I would remove from SupForce. I there's still channels that I'm finding to this date, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, I still scroll through and I'm like, I didn't even know that existed, but hi.
Yeah, and you know, constantly we're always like every week the staff team meets and we always look at the channels, and if it's like, you know, conversation that's completely off topic for weeks on end, it's like, well, we'll get rid of that channel because, you know, there's no point to having it. But then, you know, we do get the feedback all the time from individuals like you or just people and suggestions just saying, hey, you know, why don't we have this? And it's like, yeah, we'll give it a shot, you know, give the community what they want. Yeah, exactly. That's definitely an idea. I'm sure there's many members of the staff team that are all like thinking, they're mulling it over in their brains right now, like, how could this work?
Yeah, really cool. There's definitely some little bits that, like, there's always suggestions and there's always trial and errors. You know, there's always going to be upgrades to degrades back down to little things because some things worked and some things didn't work. So, you know, it's always good.
Being able to adapt.
Yeah. Question from Engineer Death: Have you ever, I guess, hosted or been part of any themed Halloween parties you've done?
I have, yes. I've hosted one here where we did a Halloween sort of event where everyone sort of picked their, you know, favorite sort of horrors and, you know, sort of who, like, different horror characters, and everyone had to take part. Everyone. Regardless if you didn't like dressing up, you had to do it. And like for me, who's like a big horror guy, like there's so many events here in England that are just top notch.
Awesome.
There's some good ones that, but I'm mostly like, I would go out to horror events more than host them myself.
Okay, cool.
So what's the best costume you've ever worn then, like the one that you put the most hours into thinking about?
Oh, I think personally for me, I did like a half where, well, so we were going out for the whole like night as a Halloween sort of event inspired thing, and I bought these contact lenses that completely like blacked out my eyes because I wanted to get rid of like everything, and I didn't want to be able to see. And I wasn't too sure. This was the first time I ever tried contact lenses, and I put them in, and it was awful. I managed to get one in, and I couldn't get the other one to go like fit. So I decided to cut my face down the middle and do one side like completely done, and one side was cut like it looked like it had been like peeled back. So
okay.
it was like blood all the way down. This side was like blacked out because of the eye being like completely covered, and this side just looked like it was peeling a little bit. And I think that one for me was just, it has to be like the best time I ever had with like Halloween in general, because it changed my whole look for the night, because I was like, I couldn't get this other contact lens in.
Think on your toes. Yeah, adapt. So, yeah.
And like that for me was probably the best that we like has ever happened, because it's always fun. I think if anything has to come spontaneously and you have to change something quickly, it always ends up being the best you've done, because you're having to think like rapid fire.
Nice. There's one other question here. I just had it. I think I lost it now. Where'd it go?
Yeah, I'm trying to see
if you could
else.
only eat one meal forever, what would it be?
Ooh, mine would have to be gammon steak, because
Okay.
I love gammon steaks with a passion.
Again, I like this. I like this. These answers. Yeah, gammon. Big thumbs up for me.
Mark, the answer to your question is I don't have the lamb sauce. But Gordon would be upset with me for not having that. Gordon would be very upset. Because it's raw!
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be from Madly?
Me personally is actually happening next year, where I'm hiking up a mountain in Norway. There's 4 cabins up on this mountain in Norway in a place called Skapet, and it's beautiful. You have to hike up for a couple of hours, and you're on top of a mountain. It's all nature reserved cabins, windows pretty much all the way around. And for me personally, it's happening next year, and I'm so excited for it. Like,
oh, wow.
I'm so excited. It's gonna be great. It's like you look out and all you can see is like the top of the mountain, and it's got like a natural bank of water reserve where you can go swimming on the top of like the area, and it's just what I've loved and I've always wanted to do, but I've never really got down to doing it until next year. So it's going to be so amazing, and like it's the one thing that for me it's on my bucket list to like I can tick that off. So
Nice.
Oh, definitely. That definitely sounds good.
Will be really nice.
All right, let's see. Any more questions? No, I think we
we've
are
answered
good.
I think it's been great.
Awesome.
We've answered everything here, yeah.
Cool. Well, we're a little bit over, but we'll give you a few minutes here, JM, if you want to shout anything out before we raid one of our members.
Awesome. I just want to say thank you for hosting me as a featured creator. I wasn't really expecting it. I woke up and I had a few messages like, oh yeah, this is happening, so if you want to, and then I was like, oh, yeah, this was cool. That will happen. No panic. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for always supporting me. You guys always supported me a year ago as Maul, and I hope you guys that have already supported on JMJC that will carry on. We're the same people, so it's always fun content, and I love to hear from you guys and always support you guys. And what's happening more recently is I'm playing more with SupForce members, and that's just amazing to me because there's always room for collaboration, there's always room for meeting new friends, and like for example, with me and GC, not JC, but GC, we've recently probably started chatting in game. We've started realizing that we both have a passion for Resident Evil, so you're probably gonna see a Resident Evil collab at some point with me and GC. And yeah, just in general, there's like so much stuff that I love, and everyone in SupForce has always supported ideas, and we're always running stuff by. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope to see you guys in future streams once I get the schedule back in order.
Definitely.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming out to the stream today. Appreciate GC co-hosting with me. It's been awesome. JM, thank you for being a wonderful featured member. We look forward to the last part of the week here for you. If you guys haven't checked out his content yet, check out that featured member channel. He posts his videos all the time. I've also posted his link to JMGC Plays in the chat, so make sure you sub, like, comment on every one of his videos, and we're going to move ahead to rating one of our members, qeeWKY, in just a moment here. Before we do so, just a few reminders on you guys. I'm going to do a little bit of advertisement here just to pay the bills at SupForce. So we got Omni Esports. If you guys are interested in getting into competitive esports, they've now partnered with us. You can find them out in SupForce or checking out their website. We also have a partnership with Rogue Energy. Get your game on with 10% off with our code in SupForce. We also are representing Owned, so if you need any graphics or other resources for your streams or content, check them out. And last but not least, SupForce merch. Get that today. Make sure you rep that community. You can boost all of it and become part of SupForce. Thank you all for coming out, and we'll be rating qeeWKY in just a few moments.
Nice. Quick reminder, there's going to be some codes coming out very soon.
Oh, codes. They're coming.
Go.
Awesome. Great job, guys.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome. So, yeah. That was great fun.
It's always good when people have a lot, you know, they talk. They don't just like, oh, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's always good when it can go on to full conversation.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely easy. Yeah. Easy conversations, lots to talk about.
Oh, that was so dirty.
I looked down, I'm like, oh my god, it's like already 2 p.m. We told you we'd be done at 2 p.m.
That's so good. It was good fun. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Really
Thanks
cool.
for coming out, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate being part of SupForce and everything that you do here, supporting the community and everything. It's awesome.
Always, man.